Hey my friends, what's going on? It's your boy Kater on a beautiful day, my friends. So in this video today, I want to talk about how does the coronavirus and the whole murder of George Floyd, how does that affect you and your business? So yesterday I got the chance to be at my in-laws house. I went to my in-laws house and we spent a good amount of the time watching the news because they had the TV downstairs. They had the news. Usually I don't watch the news, but nowadays you can't really escape it with everybody being home and social media. Even if you don't follow the news outlet, you'll have people posting everything that's going on social media. But everybody knows the issue that's going on right now with the news. So we had a little bit of debate while being at the house, and I just want to ponder a little bit and kind of share my mind and my thinking. I've been living in America for about, 12 years now. What makes America great is the same thing that makes it bad. Now let me explain, okay? So this is not new. Systemic racism or racism against black people in America has not been something new. It's been happening for years, for a very long time. Now, one of the characteristics that makes America a great country to live in is because it's a melting pot, right? So you have people all over the world where they want to come is America. I remember growing up as a kid. I'm from Haiti, by the way. Growing up as a kid, and if anybody asks you where do you want to go, what country of choice, if you have the possibility to go, where would you choose to go? You can ask every kid. They're gonna tell you it's the U.S. and I'm assuming and I'm sure it's the same thing for almost every third world country or every other country in the world. People want to come to the state, and one of the reasons. So as I grow up and then become a little bit older, I can understand why. Back then, I didn't understand the reason behind it, but now I do. One of the reasons is because they control media. And media is a very powerful source, right? People will say, yeah, it's because America has the #1 force, military force. But as a kid, you don't care about military. You don't care about war. You don't care about, all you care about is what you see, what you may be hearing. So, of course, when you're watching all the movies, they come from the U.S., all the media outlet coming from the U.S., and of course they're the #1 base power. So by then, since you're a child, whenever you in your country, you're looking at all those buildings, you're looking at this place, it looks amazing. When you're watching a movie, you want to come here, and that's one of the most powerful way it has been impacted as far as people's mind all over the world to come to the United States, right? So, but when I came to the state now, I realized living here, because I'm from a different country, kind of have a different perspective of who I am and what it's like. But when I came here and I find some of my let's say peer on a skin color level, right? Some of the people that looks like me, that has the same skin color as me, who are black just like myself. And I saw the treatment even I was getting through high school, being not only being different and being Haitian was there was another layer of racism or criticism. So I had to deal with all of that. But being here and have a little time to really think about it, what makes America great is the same thing that makes it bad. Because it becomes a melting pot. When this country was built, we all know it was kind of built on the back of the black people, but they had no rights, nothing. It was built for the elite, which was the whites, right? So it was built by the black for the white. But as things changed throughout the years now, slavery being abolished using the industrialization, the time of machines now, and a lot of people realize, hey, we don't really need to use a bunch of slaves in order for us to get the same results, which at that time, one of the reasons why the U.S. was powerful is because they were economic power of the world, meaning they were production, they were being very productive. Like my island, for example, Haiti, was known as one of the, they call it the pearl of the Caribbean. you know, because of the fact that they were producing so much sugar cane, so much coffee at that time, and all this stuff was being exploited to European countries like France, which was France and Spain, which was the two main power in Haiti that dominate during the time of slavery, that dominate all the resources and extracting all the resources. And in order for that to be mass produced at that time, you know, history it was on the back of the slave, right? So same thing for America. A lot of black people, the slave was brought over here to build this country, meaning we were in the production part, producing every single day, and then it was producing under the value of the white. Now, industrialization came into place. Machine started to replace a lot of the man work, right? So we kind of did not really need slavery as much or rely on it, right? And things has changed, right? When things has changed now, what happened in Haiti, the story of Haiti, we have this revolution where we killed all the French, all the Spanish, all we sent them back to the country. And the country ended up being run by black people, by the slave. So things has changed. So we was not living among our oppressors anymore because they were gone. Now with the US now, things happen differently. The people that was here, the revolution was different. It wasn't, hey, there was a revolution and then the black stayed over here or the black was sent to Africa. So we still lived among your oppressors after things has changed. But remember, America was never built for the black man. It was built by the black man for the white men. That's the beginning. Now, when things has changed now, industrialization comes in, a lot of people started to see America as a powerhouse, as the dreamland. Because back then, it was only slaves that was traveling to come to the U.S. You know, it wasn't, people wasn't in the beginning time, people wasn't looking for a land of opportunity. But things has changed when people start creating businesses, people started having machineries, people started coming to the States, and they start opening up to receive the world now. Remember, they start opening up now to receive everybody in the world with the power of media, you know, television, and the world start to come over here, the land of freedom. With the idea of freedom, people start to come to the United States as the power base. So what you start getting now is everybody from all over the world coming to the state with all their ideas, with all, you know, the smart, whatever they can offer. When they come here, they make their dream come true. They call it the land, the land of the free, where your dreams can become a reality. You know, United States is one of the places that if you have ideas, when you come here, in some other countries, you probably would not be able to put those ideas to place like to play like you can in the United States. So a lot of people started coming to the U.S. When a lot of people start coming to the U.S. now with their ideas, they start building businesses, they start creating for this country, which now start establish this power base even more, because now you have all these people from all those other countries. When you come to the U.S., you build a business in the U.S., who does it benefit most in the long run, right? The U.S., because you're paying taxes, you're employing people, you're creating jobs, you're creating products and services. So all of these are created by also people coming in from different places, you know. So what started to happen now is creating what's called a melting pot, but a melting pot on a lower level, like on the mass. So everybody that was coming, we creating a melting pot where everybody has a chance to build a business, everybody has a chance to be something. Now, what I see in this whole, we call it systemic, right? Racism, that this is very systemic. In order for things to change, they would have to be systemically changed also. Meaning, on the top level, on the top tier, there must be an equalization that happens, just like it happens. There's open arm for every countries and everybody to come to the U.S. That's how we build it, how we create that mindset in everybody's mindset that, hey, this is the land to come, this is the place you can build your freedom, this is the thing. It has to happen on a system level. And let me tell you why I don't think it's gonna happen, right? It has to happen on a system level in order for us not to feel threatened as a black person walking down the street. When I looked at the video that was sent to me on Facebook, YouTube of George Floyd, if you're a black person, you can relate to that person, right? You can see yourself in him because you can relate on the skin color. Now, it's only on the skin color superficial, right? Only on the skin color that we can relate, but I don't know him, he doesn't know me, I don't know his lifestyle, and also maybe history, background, that we can't really control our history and our background. Like if you come here, you find whatever you find. Like if you come here, you find yourself white, you find yourself right, white. You didn't have a choice, you just find it. Like if you come here, you find yourself black or Indian, or you just wake up and find yourself as that. It's not like predestined where you, before you came here, you say, I'm going to come here as white, or I'm going to come here as black, or I'm going to come here as Indian, or I'm going to come here as Spanish. You just come here and you find yourself as what you find yourself. You cannot change your history. Your history is what it is, right? But in order for us to create a true melting pot, as I was explaining to my father-in-law, the way I see this thing get any better is the same way we have a melting pot over the masses. In the masses, where everybody come here to build a business, everybody come here for an education, everybody come here where they can better their life, everybody come here because of freedom, everybody come here. We need to create a melting pot on the top. Now let's look at the top, the elite, the people that's been ruling this country for ever since this country has been great, or has been in the beginning of being great. And it's only been white people, white. If you look at, I remember I was looking at, what's his name? One of the comedian, Cat Williams, he was talking about if you trying to look at the president page and you turn it this white to the top, then you have Obama, which is that one black, and we go like, oh yeah, we have one black president, oh, things has changed. It's starting to change, but we need to create, if you look at the Senate, you look in there, what is it? How many people that's in the House? 2 representatives per states, so over 100 people in there. But if you look at the Senate, the power base, if you look at all the top companies, you're looking at all the top government. So, they all being built. They are all occupied, all the top positions are all occupied by people of white color, right? And it's not promoted for any other, and I'm not even going black on that. I'm going on a level of every other minority and every people, every races. It's not promoted for these people to even have this position. If you going against, if you're a white person, you're going against a minority person for a position, they more likely, we already know as a minority, they more likely to get the position. And you might say, oh no, it's not true, things has changed. But look at the results. Look at all the high positions. Look at the people who occupy them, who they are, who are they? You will see, we might say, yeah, things are changing, but the proof is in the pudding, right? We might go and look to see all the positions, starting from the Senate to the House of Representatives, to the people that makes the law of this country, to the people that are the top CEOs of this country. Look at them. How much of a melting pot is it? If we have a melting pot which creates America and makes it such a great place to be, when I was a kid, I'm dreaming to come to this country. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best place. This is what I know. This is where everybody have freedom. Until we create that on the top tier, it will never be a country where it's like true equality that we preach, which is not true. It's only fairly, it's not true equality. I was watching another video before the George Floyd video about this lady who says had a park in New York, in Central Park in New York City. Matter of fact, I lived a good amount of my childhood in New York, so I'm very familiar with Central Park and stuff like that, where she called the cop and said, hey, she was being threatened by an African American walking around with her dog, and have that change. And all this mindset, if the police is a melting pot. We have true equalization where everybody, not just African American, you're talking about Spanish, you're talking about Indian, you're talking about everybody that's coming here, because everybody, we're talking about Poland, we're talking about, Venezuelan, and we're talking about Colombian, we're talking about Dominican, we're talking about, and a lot of the time we create that because we become so self-centered, we create that mindset that, hey, we just throw everybody in a pat. Like people that are Spanish, sometimes they just look, and sometimes I do it myself, or people that are Spanish or people that are black, we just throw them in the same basket, just as we do for white. I guess it's really kind of labeling, but understanding that if we don't have a true melting pot on the top level, things at the bottom will always be chaos. Now, here's the reason why I said that will never happen. I believe one of the reasons that I think that that's not going to happen, although I see this as a solution. This is my way of thinking, and I process solution that I think would change things, would change things. It's when we see, all the top judges, they're not just white. You have Spanish, you have all these other people. And how are we going to change that? We have to start changing, the system, and then start changing the school system for the kids that are coming. Because remember, as I said, history is gone. We can only change the now, which is the present, which in turn will change the future, right? Which is going to change history. So, which is going to change history, because the future, when it gets here, it's going to be the now. It's going to be the present. In the past, it's going to be history. So if we change our right now, our kids will have a different history. Right? They'll have something different to think about. So it has to start with them. It has to start with them. We have to start, making the shift from the base. But now let's go back to where I think it's impossible. It's not impossible, but it's gonna take some people with really good heart, to do it. Because men, as a, if I was in a position of power, like if I was white, like I'm not black, I'm not protesting, why would I want to relinquish my power? Like if I'm number one, in America, teach you to be very competitive. If you're in business, it's a competitive mindset. It's everybody trying to fight to get the best, to be the best. Even me, I'm a business owner, right? And we strive every day to become the best version of ourselves. We're pushing. Sometimes competition comes into place. So now, if you're on top as a race, right? You're on top. You the white race, you got everything that was passed down to you. It was built by the blacks and giving to the white. Like if you're a white person in America, you already have access to a lot of open doors that a black person has to work 10 times harder for him to open. Am I right or right? I mean, it's the reality of things, right? It's how things are set up. It was built by the blacks for the white. So if you born, I'm not saying you was asked to be born white, right? If you born in a white family, you more likely might have your parents already have a business. They already have something that was passed down from generation to generation. Maybe it was built by our ancestors as a black person, but it was given to your parents because they were in control, and that you enjoy that benefit. And now think about it happens to thousands and thousands and even thousands of generation higher in generation going down. So it's more likely for you to have a better lifestyle than someone who come from a different generation. Hopefully that's making sense in the way that I'm actually saying it. So until we have a true melting pot on the top, right? A true melting pot on the top, things are still going to be crazy. Riding on the street, going and break other people's businesses. Some people took time to build. Some black people lose their businesses. I'm a business owner, and I can only imagine. Not only we got hit by the coronavirus, because we also have a wedding business where we cannot host any events at all. We got hit by the coronavirus. Now, I'm going to imagine if someone go into your venue right now and just breaks everything, and now, your business that you took a long time to build as a black person is gone. It's like overnight. Now you have to do all this craziness. So you got to look at both sides of the spectrum. So how do you create that? Now, I talk about, hey, we need a melting pot on the tap. So how do you create the melting pot on the tap? Because if the race is on top, they're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to you because we already on top. Like me, if I'm already comfortable right now, why would I want to give up my comfort zone? Think about it. Why would I want to give up my comfort zone to someone who wants to be in my place? Why would I want to give it up so I can go either on the same level as them or lower? Why would I want to do that? So the other person has to level up. And I know all the odds are against you. The only way we're going to be able to push past that is to, one, become self-reliable. You have to start going, yes, there's going to be a bunch of system that is placed against you, but it's worth to try and making the effort. Like as many black people start pushing to become self-reliable, to have your own business, to go out there and create your own business so that you can start, producing. Because with the power of production now, if you start creating incomes, although you're still going to be treated in some way, somehow, but I guarantee you, if we do it as a whole, now you might say, yeah, it's just one person doing it because there's already people that has economic power and they still feel that they're being treated the same. On some level, yes, but on some level, no. So we have to start making some effort as a whole to create, economic power. Because if you have economic power now, you start having your own respect, So that's what I wanted to say. Until things really, the one way I see things really change for the better in the future is a true melting pot on the top. And it's not going to happen a lot of the time by choice. So you're going to have to work to infiltrate yourself to actually get into the safe neighborhood, to actually work yourself up, to build your business, build the things that gives the power, the stuff that give power. You need to start focusing on how can I build those things. America is a business land. So if you don't have a business, start seeing how can I put one together? What are the plans? How can I work towards it every day? How can I invest towards growing it? And that's why if you follow my channel, you see I preach a lot on entrepreneurship, on building businesses, stuff like that. That's going to help you to grow, as a person. And if we start growing all together now, and we link all of those powers and resources together, you start becoming a power base. And still then, I still feel that that's not going to be enough until we melt the top. At least that's going to infiltrate. If there's 10 of us, that own mega corporation, then we can start having a voice. Or else just going on the street, rioting, revolt, and then the system doesn't change. The systemic things doesn't change. The people that still owns the top, it's still going to be the same. I don't care how much cars you burn. What if they can buy 20 cars? They create the cars. I don't care how many businesses you go and burn. They're going to recreate the business and you're going to go buy the products and services because you need them. Because you're not creating, you don't have anything. So until you get to that point of creation and start leveling up, although the odds are against you, it's been against you for a long time as a black person, as a black man or black woman, because of the way this country was built and the system that is in place now, right? You have to level up. And I was watching my good friend talk about how even on a white level now, because of all the jobs being gone now, there's just like industrialization happened where they did not need the slave. The system did not really have to rely on the slave anymore because you can get a machine to do 10 times the work 100 people was going to do in 1 hour that 100 people was going to do in 1 day. You can get a machine to do it. So which one is more reliable, the slave? 100 slave or the machine? The machine is more reliable. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to bait it. You don't have to make it sleep. It can work all 24/7. You just have to change the parts, put the stuff together. It makes a lot more sense. Well, in this new generation happening with the internet taking over, with a lot of stuff, now a lot of companies are realizing people are not that indispensable. They can get rid of people. Like Walmart, you go now, they don't need as much cashiers anymore because you can just check things out. A lot of businesses are being revolutionized by the internet. Like, you don't need people to go out on the streets anymore to hold sign or to put sign out there. You can market your business online. There's a lot of things that are changing, and a lot of people that lost their job, they're gonna realize that, because a lot of them won't come back, because companies will start realizing we can do away with a lot of those people, because the infrastructures is already set. Like, just like the infrastructures were set and the machine comes, do the whole work. The infrastructures has been set, and a lot of things are gonna be replaced. So what's your case if you don't learn to adapt and grow? You're always gonna be mad and not knowing where you are. And literally, this is gonna be the case, guys. Anyway, I just wanted to give my perception on this stuff. If you have if you have an argument, or if you have a question or a comment, drop it down below. Let me know what you think. I have right now a course called The Long-Term Business, where I teach people how to utilize the internet to build a long-term business through something either they have interest into, if you have any interest into anything, or something that you're passionate about. If you have any passion into something, you can build a business. Or if there's a bunch of people that are passionate about it, you can build businesses around these things, utilizing the internet for the most part. So definitely go check out that link. I'm gonna put a webinar in the description. Go check it out. Check out the webinar. You can check out the website at thelongtermbusiness.com. The webinar is below. Check out the stuff. I appreciate you for watching this video. Let me know your thought. I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys later. Bye.